In this video, we explore the opulent yet grounded world of pastoral glamour, a design style that balances the earthy roots of countryside heritage with the sophistication of elevated taste. It's not just rustic, and it's far from overdone luxury. This is where comfort wears silk and elegance walks barefoot on reclaimed wood. Pastoral glamour is rooted in timeless rural traditions, think stone cottages, heirloom furniture, and linen drapes, but lifted by curated accents like crystal chandeliers, silk florals, and antique gold mirrors. This style celebrates history while embracing an eye for refinement and curated storytelling in every corner of the home. The architecture of a pastoral glamour home often begins with classic farmhouse silhouettes, pitched roofs, exposed beams, and expansive porches, but layers in grandeur through arched doorways, paneled walls, and vintage masonry. The result is a home that feels aged with dignity and shaped by high style. The color story in pastoral glamour is sophisticated but soft. Olive green, slate blue, warm ivory, and dusty rose are often paired with brushed gold or antique bronze. These palettes whisper of old estates and sun-drenched fields, inviting both serenity and stately charm into your space. Key to the pastoral glamour look is furniture that has a past. Reupholstered wingback chairs, vintage pine armoires, and worn-in leather settees bring soul to your interiors. Restored, not replaced, these pieces become centerpieces of stories and symbols of a well-lived life. Wood surfaces in pastoral glamour are never too polished. Whether it's an old oak table or hand-hewn beams, the charm lies in the patina. A gleam of beeswax polish or subtle inlay detail can elevate what's rustic into a work of timeless sophistication. This aesthetic thrives on texture. Drape linen curtains next to silk pillows. Mix a tartan wool throw with a velvet upholstered bench. Layered textiles, both humble and high-end, add tactile richness and visual warmth that makes the space feel storied and sumptuous. Florals are a key design motif. From vintage wallpaper to fresh peonies in porcelain urns, floral elements speak to the rural roots of this style. Opt for garden roses, olive branches, and dried lavender, natural elements that lend elegance with pastoral charm. Wainscoting, toile wallpaper, and aged plaster are the canvas of pastoral glamour. They offer a backdrop that feels lived in yet curated. Each crack and texture becomes part of a visual symphony rooted in European manor houses and romantic countryside escapes. From crystal chandeliers to brass candelabras, lighting plays a dramatic role. A vintage pendant over a rustic kitchen island or a Baroque lamp on a distressed console fuses the glamour with the grounded. It's about illuminating history, literally and figuratively. Stone or brick fireplaces anchor the soul of the home. Add ornate mirrors, antique andiron sets, or soft floral arrangements. This hearth becomes a statement, elegant, welcoming, and evocative of a slower, beautiful way of life. Displaying inherited items, china, portraits, or a weathered rocking chair adds emotional depth. These treasures, paired with high-end accessories, become powerful juxtapositions of sentiment and style. They remind us that luxury isn't always new. In the kitchen, think aged butcher block islands, polished brass faucets, and shaker cabinets alongside French range cookers. This is where practical meets pretty. Add embroidered tea towels and delicate porcelain teacups for soft touches of elegance. Long wooden dining tables adorned with fine linen, crystal glassware, and hand-thrown ceramic plates bring together the rustic and the refined. Dried herbs hung nearby or a silver candelabra centerpiece complete the mood of noble simplicity. A four-poster bed dressed in Egyptian cotton sheets, a vintage vanity, and soft lighting set the tone. Think understated opulence, layered duvets, gauzy curtains, and an antique rug beneath your feet. This is where countryside retreat meets boudoir elegance. Clawfoot tubs, marble vanities, and brass fittings speak volumes. Add monogrammed towels and a vase of fresh garden cuttings. The bathroom transforms into a private spa steeped in timeless taste and countryside serenity. Art is a voice in the home, soft yet sophisticated. Landscapes, oil portraits, and classic etchings offer both visual interest and a whisper of antiquity. Let your walls be a gallery of memory, legacy, and taste. One of the secrets to pastoral glamour is confidence in contrast. Mix Baroque gilding with rough barn wood. Pair lace with leather. Each combination reveals a layer of story, making the space feel human and harmonious. Scents evoke emotion. Choose natural candles or diffusers that blend herbs, cedarwood, bergamot, or rose. These fragrances underscore the sensory layers of your home, making every visit feel like a return to something deeply meaningful. Build small scenes, a writing desk by the window with a fountain pen and stacked journals, or a chair beside a vintage trunk with a folded quilt. These moments create emotional touchpoints, grounding glamour in the everyday. Oriental rugs, faded kilims, or natural jute rugs provide texture, history, and elegance underfoot. They connect room elements while standing on their own as artistic statements, woven tapestries of culture and craft. Gilded mirrors, oxidized edges, or hand-carved wood frames all find a home here. These mirrors don't just reflect light, they reflect history and add an aura of depth and brilliance to every room they grace. Leather-bound volumes, vintage novels, or garden manuals create cozy sophistication. Whether arranged in a wall-spanning shelf or stacked on a Louis XV coffee table, books offer both intellectual charm and a cultivated aesthetic. Your entryway sets the tone. A wooden bench, vintage umbrella stand, and antique hooks for coats say, "This home has history." Add a fresh floral arrangement or an aged patina mirror to extend the promise of pastoral glamour. Mixing elegance with imperfection creates unexpected beauty. Linen with lace. Brick with brass. This duality is the beating heart of pastoral glamour. It's a design philosophy that values both the raw and the rare. Wrought iron furniture, climbing roses, and stone urns filled with lavender extend the style outdoors. Whether it's a terrace brunch or a sunset gathering, Your garden should be an extension of the same heritage elegance found within. Pastoral glamour isn't about mimicking trends, it's about elevating your story. That cross-stitched family sampler? Frame it. That vintage travel trunk? Turn it into a coffee table. Let your decor reflect both where you come from and where your taste is headed. Swap out throws, wreaths, and tabletop accents with the seasons. Fall may bring amber glass and dried wheat, spring, pastel linens, and tulips. Let the rhythms of nature subtly guide your glamour. Pastoral glamour encourages us to slow down, to live beautifully, not just decorate beautifully. Every piece, every fabric, every floral sprig has intention. It's not about perfection, it's about presence and personal resonance. As we conclude our journey through pastoral glamour, remember this: true luxury lies not just in materials, but in meaning. In creating spaces that age with grace, hold memory with pride, and inspire a life lived artfully, rooted in heritage and dressed in elegance.